told you, kid.
All right, Mr. DeMille, I'm ready for my close-up.
Can I just indulge you guys with something that happened a couple of weeks ago? Andrew, we bumped into each other in Sydney just by coincidence, really. I mean, we knew in advance that we were both going to be there. You were up visiting your sister. I was up there seeing one of my heroes. Mr. James Cameron was in town. He was over here as part of the Sydney Vivid Festival, Andrew, where they lit up the city, didn't they?
Big cultural art festival.
Yeah, and he was up there doing a talk as part of a series where Adam Spencer was interviewing him up on stage for a good hour and a half, all about his exploration. So, his scientist-based stuff as well as his film. But, of course, the discussion often got into his movies because it's James Cameron, And earlier in the day, my wife, Helen, and I were going to the exhibition building because there's an exhibition there about all his underwater exploration, which is opening this week in Sydney, a couple of weeks since you guys are hearing this now. And I went to the line to go get our tickets, not knowing that the exhibition hadn't opened yet. So I was about to be severely disappointed. The woman told me that, no, the exhibition isn't opening until Tuesday, and this is Sunday, so we're 2 days away. My wife, Helen, had gone into the bathroom at this precise time. And so I walked out of the line, prepared to let her down with some extreme disappointment that we're not going to be able to go to the exhibition. And I turned around, and guess who was walking out of the exhibition with his posse?
Andrew?
Security.
Was Andrew
Mr.
McCaskill
was there. No, the man himself, James Cameron, and his wife, Susie, were being let out. And I had one of those moments because there was hardly anyone there at the time, anyone who would recognize him. I was essentially there by myself. I had one of those moments that I never thought I would ever have. I mean, obviously, I was there to see him at this talk, so I was going to see him later that night. But when he's like right there and he's essentially walking by you with his wife and all his security, you have one of those moments where you're like, what do I do? Like, I really wish Helen was here right now because these two are vegans and my wife's a vegan and like she's wearing a vegan T-shirt as we speak. And it's like, it would be a way for me to talk to my idol right at this moment. I didn't do that because it just didn't feel natural to sort of walk up there and go,
Did
James,
you start
Susie,
yelling out, vegan? Vegan!
My wife's a vegan. Can we talk?
My brain was going nuts. Andrew, you know how much I hold this man in high regard, right?
Yeah.
So it's one of those moments
between your wife and James Cameron.
Yeah,
It's
right?
not every day
But I
you
really
get that.
right? Anyway.
My wife's in the toilet. This is my chance.
Yeah, so he was let out. He was let out by the security out to the car, and that's why I snapped a quick photo of him and Susie about to get in the car, which I sent to you guys that day. And then Helen came out, and I went, "Helen, I've got 2 bits of bad news for you." And she's like, "What? I said, the exhibition isn't open until Tuesday, so we can't do that this afternoon. Also, you just missed James Cameron."
Oh my God.
Because the car, you'd literally been whisked off in the car, right? I actually went outside during that time and actually asked one of the security guys, "Can I get a photo?" And he actually sort of said, "No, sorry, he's already in the car and we can't do that." So I thought that I'd lost the opportunity because my wife had gone to the bathroom and, it would have been easier if she was with me at that second to be able to maybe sort of go, "James, can we get a photo or something?" Right?
Yeah.
She was distraught with this because she's become a really, really big James Cameron fan thanks to this vegan thing that she's adopted recently. So she really admires the man for different reasons. She loves his films, particularly Titanic and Avatar. So there was mixed emotions there. Later that day, we went to the talk, obviously, and it was really great. He spoke about his underwater exploration. He spoke about his films and everything as well, which was really good for me to hear because I didn't think I was going to be able to hear much about that. And there was a Q&A at the end, and I had one of those moments like, bang! All right, whoever wants to ask James a question, get up here and join this line at this microphone, and we'll see if we get to you. Right? Well, if I didn't move at that second, and you're about to find out why, I wouldn't have had this experience. So the actual talk went for about an hour or so, and then the Q&A went for about half an hour, right? So it was actually quite long, really. They gave it quite a bit of time. And there was about 4 microphones set up around the auditorium, so it wasn't just my line, right? Well, I had about 5 guys in front of me, and I realised that they were moving around the mics, and James Cameron, he can talk. He can talk, let me tell you. So every single question that he was asked, he gave a long, in-depth response to. So I didn't think that my chances were good. You know what I mean? Like I was 5 people behind on my microphone and they were moving around the microphones.
Yeah.
Right. Anyway, cut to half an hour later and I'm standing there. 100, maybe 1,000 questions were going through my mind just in case I was lucky enough, right? What do you ask one of your idols, one of your filmmaking idols? There are so many things. I had so many questions going through my head. I was thinking about composer James Horner and Bill Paxton, who have passed away in the last couple of years, whether I tied in something like that, or something about all his movies and stuff like that. Do I tie it into something completely different? Adam Spencer said, you are our final question for the night.
Oh, wow. Nice. Just snuck in.
I couldn't believe it. After the disappointment of earlier in the day and stuff as well, I couldn't believe my luck. I was actually the last person in line.
Yeah.
And,
Wouldn't it be tragic if he said, no, not you, the guy behind you.
absolutely. So Adam Spencer said, this is the final question. What's your name? And I said, I'm Adam as well. Seems appropriate, Adam, considering that you got to ask the first one. I get to ask the last one.
So was that the gag, or is that a third thing you were going to say?
There was just something that just popped in the head at the time.
Yeah.
And anyway, this is what I asked James Cameron. So there's a little gag, and then I asked him a serious question. I said, while us passionate home theatre enthusiasts wait patiently for The Abyss and True Lies on Blu-ray, in which he knew exactly what I was talking about, and he laughed up there to himself. I said, I'm big into motivational speeches, and one of your motivational quotes is that in life, with whatever you're doing, failure is an option, but fear is not. And I said that is a big thing that I remember to this day. And I said, what is some advice that you can give to somebody, whether it be a fan who might be a little bit stuck in fear in their life occasionally? What is some advice that you can give that person in regards to how to overcome it and be successful? You're obviously someone that achieves the highest of highs when you set yourself to something.
He's the Howard Hughes of our time.
Yeah. So I got to ask that question, which felt like a really appropriate last question. And then I had some audience members tell me after that it was a great question. So
Wow.
I could have asked him anything, but I decided to go very personal to something, to something that I wanted some advice. And he gave a really good answer, and we might play it on the show as well.
Yeah, awesome.
Hi, Jim. Nice to meet you. While us home theatre enthusiasts continue to wait patiently for The Abyss and True Lies, I'm big on inspirational quotes, and you have one of my favourites, which is, in whatever you're doing in life, fear is an option. But
fear is not an option.
Fear is not an
Failure
option.
is an option.
Failure is an option. Fear is not.
Yeah. See, the NASA thing was failure is not an option from Apollo 13. And, Ed Harris's line. I think failure has to be an option, because if you're entering into something new and you're saying failure is not an option, you're not taking a big enough risk. You're not going out there on the bleeding edge. You have to be prepared to fail. But you'll learn from that failure, and then you won't fail again. Now, having said that, I also believe don't fail. Just don't fucking fail. Do everything you can to not fail. Right?
Well, now you're taking me to a technical spot here, because technically halfway through his question, you didn't come on. I'll give you another 10 seconds to run. It's been very close to time here.
For people that might be sort of flailing a little bit in the fear, find it very difficult to get out of that. The opposite from your good self, for example. What's the best advice that you can give?
Well, you just have to not be afraid. I mean, just go do it. What's the worst thing that could happen? You fall on your ass and look like an idiot. Or you'll accomplish something, and and people will see it, and they'll be inspired by it, and then they'll do their own. Yeah. I mean, that's called innovation. If you're too afraid to fail to actually do anything, then you're not going to innovate. And we all celebrate innovation. It's kind of the highest and best expression of us as human beings, and using our consciousness.
Right. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, let me tell you, it was a big deal.
Yeah, amazing.
To get so lucky at the end of that Q&A and to actually speak directly, because I was right up there with him, right up next to the stage, to actually ask one of your idols a question and to have a really honest response. Yeah, it was a big deal.
Did you think just about asking, can I have a hug? Did you just? That'd have been awesome.
I considered it.
Oh, that's actual touch.
Yeah.
And he's probably somewhere right now recounting a story where one of his favourite podcasters in the world got up and asked him a question. He couldn't believe his luck.
I'm sorry I wasn't able to work real chat in there either, guys. I did think about it, but it just seemed no one would get it.
It's the worst. When you're at a Q&A and someone stands up, there's two worst things they could possibly do. One is self-promotion. Yeah. I'm in town with this project. Or two is, actually got two questions for you.
And they're both comments.
And everyone just rolls their eyes.
No.
Yeah, and they're both comments.
More a comment than a question.
Totally,
It's like,
totally.
But I got to throw in the whole, we're all still waiting for the abyss and True Lies.
I think you did it tastefully. It sounds like you did it very tastefully.
Yeah. So, and there were some laughs in the audience to that comment. So, like, people obviously knew what I was trying to do, and I brushed it off and got into my main question.
Good.
So,
well done.
One.
So that's it, guys. So, that was just a great day for any film fan. Let me tell you, it was a big deal.